Corinthian columns are wonderful to look at, but they are very complex and they can present some problems when we go to draw the sort of classic architecture that has them. In this video, I show you how I go about drawing Corinthian column capitals. Because the capital is a complicated structure, a moment just to consider its basic simplified parts is a really fruitful thing to do. So we have the capital column, the shaft of the column, and then on top sits this array of leaves that are arranged in rings around the column shaft. Now these are acanthus leaves, a very popular leaf in ancient Greek and Roman architecture. Now you can see here they're formed in a ring, the top curves over, and then there is a second ring of acanthus leaves above the first, and they're positioned so that they're basically between the ones underneath, and again they curve over on the top, and those curved bits often are the bits that catch the light and create this effect that I think of as like little cat's tongues sticking out. Now there's a third row just on the four corners, a third row of curled over acanthus leaves just on the four corners, and then on top of those sit the corner scrolls, for want of a better word, these protruding sort of rounded scrolls that seem to sort of curl up from the center of the capital. And then on top of those four corner scrolls sits a flat piece that caps off the capital, and then the entablature blocks sit on top of that. And the thing to realize is that the four corners protrude out over the capital and actually go some distance past the column shaft. That they don't go straight up, but they do protrude out. And capturing that and the right positioning of the corners according to the perspective of that particular view is an important part of doing this. So here we have a simplified capital. So now we're going to do a sped up but more detailed drawing of this same capital. It's from the Arc du Carrousel in the Tuileries Gardens in Paris. And again we have these two concentric bands of acanthus leaves curling over around the top of the column, and we have the third band for the corner sections. The main difference with this particular column capital is that there's an eagle standing proud in the center of the top of each of the four faces, and he represents a symbol in the victories of Napoleon's Grand Army, in whose honor and victories this arch was built. And so the eagle sits there. In other Corinthian capitals it might be a rosette or a more decorative piece, and then it's a case of doing what we can see at this perspective angle of the front of the capital, and then it's just a few more details on the actual acanthus leaves because we are close up and we want to reflect the fact that they are leaves, that they are organic structures. So we put some of the detail which is very richly carved into the originals, and there we have our capital again. Hi, I'm Stephen Travers. But usually when we draw capitals, they're not the main focus of the picture, and part of the problem, particularly with the Corinthian capitals, is that they're often quite small and quite in the distance, and so they do present just a few challenges as to how we represent them on the scale that we often find them. So here's three quick examples just to show you how I chose to solve that issue of representing the capitals at some distance. Let's have a look. This is my drawing where Corinthian capitals are most detailed. You can see I've drawn the basic leaf structures in concentric bands, taking care to apply the shadows to emphasize the curved tips of the acanthus leaves. This is in fact the Arc du Carrousel, and you can see that the Corinthian columns and the capitals in particular are a very small part of the overall effect in this drawing. In this close-up of the detail of the capitals, you can see that the main detail I've drawn is the curved over lip of the acanthus leaves and the fact that they're represented in rows, and also the splayed out corners of the capital top overall. This is a much faster drawing, and the only detail literally is the curved tips of the acanthus leaves with some tone applied to represent the colour of the metal and the shadows. In this close-up, it can be seen that I've only drawn the barest, most simplified representation of the capitals. If I put too much detail in, they will be too prominent for their position in the overall drawing. I just want the basic effect of their detail to be present. Well, I hope that was helpful. We don't need to be afraid of Corinthian columns. We don't need to just do some little squiggly lines in them because they're just very complicated. Understanding how they're formed, what they're made up of, can help us make some good choices about how to, in a simple way, represent the underlying form that they have. Look, I hope this has been helpful. Have fun drawing Corinthian columns. They're wonderful things to look at. I'll see you next time. Bye.